we're gonna make a bow tie headband, and these require you not to sew anything, and it doesn't need exact measurements or anything because they are something you can adjust and change the size to. So this is great for if you have some leftover fabric but you would love a coordinating bow, or you have outfits that you've made that you want them to wear for years but you need the head to adjust to that. So here I have a piece from my rainbow collection that looks like a glitter, but it's actually digital glitter. It's not real glitter, so you don't have anything flaking off on it, but it's still a lot of fun. And this is from the watercolor Dinosaur red collection. It's got like a reddish coral color, blues, greens. This is great for coordinating between sisters and brothers or parents, anything like that. And then I also have the same collection with it as watercolor Dinosaur pink, and that's because the T-Rex has changed to a pink color from the red to coral, and then the blues are purples. But here we have one that's more of a newborn size. This was made on a 14-inch template, which I'm going to show you. You don't need to make a special template, you have plenty laying around your house. And this one's for my daughter who is 14 months and has a large head, so she's a 19-inch head, and I made this as an 18-inch headband. She doesn't like anything very tight at all. So the first thing I used as a template that most people may have laying around are these giant cans of formula. So this can of formula all the way around was 14 inches and was a great base to build this on without having to tie it onto my leg or make wooden templates or cardboard templates for something I just want to only make a couple of. The one that I decided to use, which a lot of people may have, this is my sweet tea pitcher. So it's been around for a very long time, and now it's going to be multi-purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Oh, this piece is 36 inches. You don't have to have a 36-inch piece. This is just what was left over from my project. And you're actually going to have some pieces that are a little bit extra left over. And here I have a pretty large bow on here, so if you needed to go smaller, you could. So if you only have 30 inches left over as a scrap, that's fine. You still have plenty to work with. But if you want like a gigantic bow on it, you are going to need at least the 36 inches. Alright, so I'm going to start with getting a little piece up here, crumple it down for myself, and I'm doing this in reverse, so I may have to turn it and check it a few times. So I'm going to pull this through just like you're tying your shoes. Nothing special about that part. And I'm going to hold down, I want this to be upside down. The cool thing about this is also you can make these tied this way even if there's not a design on the back, which is what you're dealing with when you have custom prints. They're not solid colors all the way through, so certain ways to tie them doesn't work, because like if the tail is hanging off, what you see is this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, because I want this part to be nice and tight. And I'm going to go ahead and let that stay curled in like that, because I do want that in the end. Okay, so when I did this and I tied this piece around, it kind of naturally goes this way. What I want to do, because I have messed up, I've started doing it on this side, and somehow it looks like the bow loop is looped around this. So you need to make sure you bring it back to the side it came from, just like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold over one piece. Okay, this is going to be on the inside. You want to make sure this piece at least goes to the center of the bow, because that's what's going to hold it. But if you have excess, you can just keep folding. And then this is what it would look like if I wanted a really small bow. I could do that, just a really tiny little accent bow. But I'm going to look at maybe, let's say, a 6-inch bow, which I'm going to eyeball. But you could use a little tape measure. And yeah, that looks good right there. That's probably closer to, let's say 5.5, I'm guessing. Yeah, just a little, almost, yeah, just about at 5.5. If you needed them to all be exact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with pulling this like into a little zigzag in a way to pinch it together. I'm going to make sure that under fabric gets with it too. And I don't want to see this, so I want to make sure that gets underneath. I don't want to see any white. There we go. Just like that. And this piece I can mess with later on to get pushed back in there a little bit better after we tie everything. So make sure you're holding it securely over here. When you pull this, I want this to be tucked in on the sides because this is what's going to make my knot. And I'm going to pull it tight around. And I only left about, I would say maybe 3 inches. It doesn't need to be exact because you're going to tuck in the excess. Just make sure you have enough for it to wrap all the way around. So I've already gotten it pulled over. It changes the bow a little bit because you're scrunching it together even better. So I'm going to start pushing up things that I want. Make sure it looks nice and puffy. There we go. Looks good. Then you're going to lift up the whole thing and push it all the way under. Now I need to give it a nice good pull. Make sure you're holding the bow because you don't want to drop it before you've had it tied off completely. So now I have a little bit of this hanging out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this in through the side of this bow. So what you can do if you need help to get better access, I'm going to move this out of the way now because we have our size. I'm going to, you can get your finger in there to help loosen it up enough to push this through. And I want to make sure I'm not showing any white. So I'm going to take a second and fix that and then push it all the way through. Could have left myself a little bit longer a tail on this one, but it's okay. So I'm going to keep pulling it. See, I still have some inside there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit at a time and keep pulling it until it all comes through. Because I want to get it nice and tight. There we go. So all of it's through now, and this is the part of the bow the way you were looking at it on there. So now I've taken the tail after I wrapped it around, and it was here. I took it and pushed it back through there. And now it's all the way through. And what I'm going to do to just kind of hide this little piece, because it's nice and secure, is I'm just going to take a little bit of this knot from the part I put over, and I'm just going to tuck it into there. So now it's hidden. We've got a nice knot all the way around. Beautiful bow. I have this piece here. That's the excess that I said you would have room to work with. There's no need to cut it. Just push it back a little bit. Can't even see it. And lay this all out. You have a perfect bow. Also awesome thing about this, because like I had stripes and the stripes changed as they went down, because I'm not twisting the bow in any way. The red stays on top, and my this is actually the blue, hadn't quite got to the purple, is here on the bottom. So I don't have switching of designs, which is also nice if you have a single direction print. Same thing you can see here. I didn't have a single direction print. This happens to toss, but it happened to work out to where what was on it is facing up. And again, I made these with Bullet or Liverpool Fabric. It's a polyester based fabric, and it is stretchy. It doesn't fray on the edges. You can do this with any knit fabric. This just happens to be one that doesn't curl when you pull it. A cotton lycra tends to curl up on you, which is fine. It looks great also with the curl, because you can make it to where the curl goes under, so the only thing you're seeing is almost what looks like a finished edge. But you can do this with a brush poly, which I will make one with a brush poly later because I have another circle skirt that I'm doing with that. But again, this is a fun little way to put together bow knit headbands, and this can work for babies all the way up to adults, and you can use it with any scrap size fabric to make it work.